Hey guys. So today is pretty much just going to be a talking video. Obviously, I may be standing, I may sit down. I don't really know what's going on as far as that goes. About 2 minutes before I finally found a decent spot to start this video, my neighbor started doing something and I don't know what it is. I don't live super close to people, but you can hear them beating and banging on stuff. So they're building something. I don't know. Just overlook that if you hear it, because I don't know what it is. Also, you know that my hair is terrible. Look at it. The home haircut thing did not work out super great for me, so it looks a little funky right now because I just got it pulled up so that I could make a video. I took a shower earlier. Obviously, my hair is wet still, so we may just leave it down. You know what? She don't look half bad down. Looks better than it did. Look, some of this is longer. Well, it's a lot longer. Home haircuts. Anyways, so I want to discuss a couple of things that I have talked about before that I wanted to talk about, and then I may make a totally different video kind of going over some other stuff, or I may just throw it all in this video. As you guys know, I never really know until we kind of get into it. So, the first thing is that I really just feel like I want to discuss is I've been seeing a lot of things. Obviously, times are hard on a lot of people right now, and I just feel like something we are short on as a people in general is compassion for other people and understanding that not everybody's situation is the same, not everybody's struggle is the same, not everybody who has government help is abusing it, not everybody who, I don't understand. So where this is coming from is I saw a couple of things actually, and I'm just going to talk on it. I'm just going to tell you guys my personal experience with it. I'm not going to throw opinions out there too much because I don't want to stir up a bunch of stuff. I'm just going to share the facts of what I know with you guys, and hopefully it sheds some light on somebody who's going through it, who understands that somebody's talking about it. I know I don't have a very big following. I am working on gaining followers, but there might be one person in my 800 something followers who's struggling and just needs to hear somebody else say that they have done it before, because when you are the person who's struggling, it's really, really hard to feel accepted by pretty much anybody, because people look down on you, and not everybody does, obviously, but a lot of the times they do. So I saw this video, and it was a woman who has, I don't know what they're called, but it's one of those, they have the books, the free book things, and then they have little pantries that have food in them and stuff. Hers is a sand castle, and I really wish I had remembered her name or whatever, because I would say it. But anyways, so she decorates it, and it's not far from her home, I believe. And she puts some food in there, and she puts birthday cards and some toys, and then if it's close to Halloween or Christmas or summer, summer, she'll put sandcastle buckets in there, or whatever, and some toys and stuff, some personal care items. And as most of you are probably thinking, oh, that's a great idea, I thought so too. I was reading the comments, because at the end of the video, she said that she had a lot of negative people say stuff to her. And it's kind of crazy, because the comments were saying, the typical comments that you get when people are getting help is, oh, well, they're living off of my tax times anyways. People's going to come and steal all this stuff. And she was saying, yes, people probably will come and take more than they need, or may take things that they don't need, but that's just a chance you take, because if you help one or two people out of those people, then there's people you're helping. And then there were some comments that was really, sorry, my allergies are crazy, concerning to me past that, because that, I guess, is just whatever. And if you can hear my kids, it's because I'm up against the wall, and when they walk through my house, it sounds like they're stomping, and you can probably hear that because I'm using part of the house to prop up my phone. Anyways, so there was comments actually saying, because she was buying good food that wouldn't go bad, but new off the shelf food she was putting in there, and people were saying, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just give them food in the back of your cabinet or whatever? And she was like, why do you want to eat out of date food? People who are going through something only deserve like expired food and stuff. Because I don't know if anybody that is watching this has been to like a food bank. I've been to a food bank. A lot of the stuff is very close to date, already out of date. It's things that you could make a meal out of, but it's like, pasta noodles, spaghetti sauce, uncooked beans, like the beans in a bag, rice, stuff like that. And it's pretty much the same thing at most of them. I know a lot of them like vary, and then like in bigger areas they offer like better options and stuff, but that's roughly what you get. And so then you're going home and you're having to look through it and think, okay, well, like 5 of these 10 cans that I got are already expired. And it's like, how much help is that actually doing? But people actually think that people who are off like that, bad off, just don't deserve good things. And I'm going to tell you that there was a time where I went to food banks. There was a time where I needed to. There was a time when WIC really got me through. When I was pregnant with Brayden, there was a lot going on I've talked about before. So we lived off of the WIC that I got, which is not much. You do not get a whole lot for WIC, at least where I am. We were getting eggs, milk, I think it's like, dairy. It's like cheese and some juices, I think. Some bread. So like we were eating egg sandwiches a lot and drinking apple juice. And I just don't think that enough people talk about their struggles, because I feel like everybody at some wave of life struggles in some way, shape, or form. It may not be the same as others. It may not be this exact situation. You may never share your story, and you may tell everybody your story. I just don't think that it's fair to sit there and just kind of say like, well, because they're struggling. There's like a gnat that just keeps circling my camera. To put judge on people and just think, well, like they're automatically doing things that they shouldn't in life, choosing bad decisions and everything. Because not everybody is, some people are just trying to survive, and their choices may have led them there. Employment may have left. I know y'all heard that. Now they're in this room, so I'm going to have to sit down with it. But, it really varies the reasons that people are struggling, and it's really nobody's business. And I have been in line using WIC before when my children was younger, and they didn't. Now they have like a card, but then it was vouchers, so it was like paper. And if you didn't get your like everything on the paper, you didn't get it. Like if there's eggs, cheese, milk, bread, and you only got cheese and milk, then you lost out on everything else that was on your paper voucher. But paper vouchers took a long time to process, so you were standing at the cash register for like 15-20 minutes, sometimes longer. Sometimes the same things that you got on WIC last time don't get approved this time, and then they're having to pull them off. And then if you're not doing, if you're trying not to spend money, or you're not doing too well money-wise, and you're only spending WIC, it can really it's embarrassing when they have to put stuff back because you can't afford to pay for it. And then there's people behind you who's scruffing and making comments and saying, oh, well, I pay for this, I pay taxes, and that pays for you, and you don't work, and stuff like this happens. And there's just the nasty comments of like people who think that other people who receive stuff like that are just like bad people. I don't understand it, but I just wanted to talk on that. Like I said, I feel like everybody struggles in their own ways, and he just hacked and something came out. That's disgusting. Excuse you, sir. But anyways, so I don't know why that was put on me, because like obviously we're still like in a struggle bus of a different kind right now. Sorry, my dog will not leave me alone. He just totally took out my phone. He's got the zoomies right now. But anyways, so I'm going to show you guys. Look at him. He's got the crazy man zoomies. But anyways, I just know that there's a lot of great people that follow me, and I know you guys are good people and wouldn't act like this, to be rude to somebody who needed it. It's just, I also know what it's like to be in a hurry. Maybe you got your kids with you. Maybe you're in a hurry to go somewhere or something, and then you get behind somebody who has like food stamps or WIC or something, and it takes a while because sometimes they have to go through everything because something didn't ring up right and all this stuff. And I understand being upset, and I understand getting frustrated and everything, but there's just no reason to be ugly, you know. And then the thing about like the girl who had the bank, like the little food thing, I don't understand. Not especially when you're not doing it, like having your own opinions about stuff. Like, why would you buy all these toys? Why would you buy all these good canned foods? Why would you buy all this stuff? You're not buying it. And so I really don't understand the comments that I saw that was like, they don't deserve that, or my tax times are already paying enough, or somebody's going to come through and steal it, so why even bother? Yes, there are people who will most likely come through and take, if not everything, most of it. There's just people like that, but it may have helped one person out. It may have helped one family out. You know, those birthday gifts that she put out may have been the only birthday gifts that a child got. So it's really important that people like this do this. And there is one near me that I take canned food to, and I take like rice and stuff to, and I donate to it, to the community to come by, to come through and get it. It's not far from me. It's at a little church down the road from me. So I try to give back in that way. I used to be that person who needed to go to one. In fact, I used to be that person, me and my husband. I've talked about our struggles on here before. I don't shy away from it. Not everybody wants to share their past, and not everybody wants to share that they've had struggles. We used to go to free meal nights at churches and everything, and we talked a little bit about this in a video before. We used to go, you know, there'd be like one every week at different churches or whatever, and we would go to free meals, and that's how we would eat. And that's how one time we accidentally went to not an AA meeting, but they were giving testimonies about like how they're like in their drug journey. So we didn't know. We just saw that there was a free dinner and we went. But I just feel like it's something I wanted to talk about. You know, I just do. I just think that there needs to be more awareness to it, that there's a lot of people struggling. It's not just you. It could be your neighbor. It could be people down the road. It could be people that you know, people in your church, people in your family, people in your community. Everybody, in my opinion, is struggling in some way, shape, or form right now, especially with just the way that everything is. And just to be hateful about it blows my mind. Like, it could be you. It could be your child. It could be your parent. Like, I don't understand that, you know. But if you come across this video, I hope that it encourages you in some way to give back to somebody, even if you are having a hard time yourself. So I will be the first to tell you that obviously we're still on a struggle bus, you know, with my son and his medical needs and traveling and stuff. It does not allow me to hand out money to people, or you know, like, I can't always help in the ways that I would like to, but sometimes when I'm blessed, I pass it forward. We'll buy somebody's meal if we're at a restaurant or at a drive-through window. We'll buy the car behind us his meal. We'll pick a table sometimes and feed a family, feed an elderly couple, feed just somebody else that day. We try to do that, I bet, the best we can, to pass it forward, because I have been there. I have been that person in the drive-thru who counted out the money and prayed that I wouldn't go over. And somebody in front of me paid, and I couldn't even tell you how blessed that I felt. Pass it forward. You know, help somebody else. Don't do it to expect anything back. Obviously, you're not supposed to do that. But do it just because you want to help people, just because you know what it's like. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you don't know what it's like to struggle, but just sit there and think about, like, what if you couldn't afford your meal that night? What if, you know, you were trying to buy groceries at the grocery store and you only had $25 to your name, but a week till payday? What if you went out to eat because, well, to be honest, because most of the time it's cheaper. In all fairness, nowadays it's cheaper. Or because, you know, it's your child's birthday and you're trying to do a dinner from them and you know that you don't have the money, or whatever the reason is. Just think about that and try to put yourself in that situation, and just be kind to people, you know. We definitely try to do that every chance that we get. And I'm not saying that for recognition. Like, nobody needs to know what I do as far as giving back. I'm just saying it's something that I do because I have been there, and I may be there again one day. And you never know when that moment could happen. You never know when it could happen to you. You never know when it could happen to somebody that you care and love about. Anything can happen. So always keep that in mind. And I'm sure that there's food banks in your area you could give to, you know, just some extra stuff that's still in date, that's still good, that you aren't going to use. Or pick up a couple of canned items from the grocery store. You know, they're cheap, and drop them at these little things that, you know, help other families, or drop it at the food bank, or whatever, or, you know, or just somehow help out a family. But try not to judge them, because you do not know what their situation is. You don't know if it's any fault of their own that they're in that situation. It could be a sick loved one. It could be, you know, car troubles, home troubles, any kind of reason that put them in that situation. And just help when you can, and try to be patient with people in line. Try to be patient with people who are less fortunate. Try to be patient even with the ones that have put themselves in that situation. I have a family member that went through several bad decisions and landed her in some deep, dark places. And I didn't understand it for a long time. I chose to just believe that it was solely her fault, and that she was not even trying to better herself. And now she is several years sober and has gotten better, and I have become more educated on things like that. And obviously you can't help someone until they want to be helped. You can't insert yourself, but you also can't know what that's like. You can't know what really mentally took them to that dark place. As a mother who has a child who is medically complex, and bad news after bad news after bad news, it's really hard not to be depressed and not to be in a bad state mentally. And sometimes I get down, and, you know, maybe that's what did it for somebody, is they just couldn't get out of that. So please always be caring to others. He's literally eating the tree now. And try to pass it forward to somebody. So thank you. I'll see you in the next one.